So anyway, kind of excited about today's episode and stuff. And recently, we announced on the Instagram that the Josh Seven podcast is now on Podchaser. Download the Podchaser app, and you can hear the show. It's one of the great mini podcast streaming distributors now. We're now available through. We got. Let's see what else we got. We got the Apple Podcast. We got Spreaker, of course. That's where we're recording from on the Spreaker studio thing. Let's see, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Dreezer, Podcast Addict, and now Podchaser. So we're now on episode 115. So anyway, it's kind of exciting to have a new distributor thing because it's kind of growing a bit. We're growing, so anyway, yesterday was the Arrow series finale, and one thing I kind of predicted that came true was John Diggle is Jon Stewart. Not the Daily Show John, who is actually making a good film that's coming out with Steve Carell in it. But the Green Lantern, Jon Stewart, my favorite Green Lantern, and most people would be. My phone just went off. Most people would be, like, hey, are you excited that your favorite Green Lantern's coming to, television? Yes and no. Hello. I mean, I'm happy that they acknowledge the existence of Jon Stewart, but for me, I'd rather see Jon Stewart Green Lantern on the big screen. And the thing is, it's they're kind of doing it lazy. Like, Jon Stewart Green Lantern deserves, like, this is a big deal. Like, to me, it's a big deal. Like, I'm still waiting for Static Shock, Icon, many other, Bumblebee. It's like, where the hell is she at? Like, you'd think with CW, they'd be like, we're gonna Bumblebee series. That's what we're gonna do. You think she would like show up in Supergirl, but nope. They do it the cheap way where they're like, oh, Jon Stewart's been around. He's John Diggle. That to me is the laziest way to bring in a character. I mean, Jon Stewart Green Lantern deserves a big intro. Like, this is one of the best Green Lanterns around. I mean, you have Hal Jordan, but Stewart deserves his own, appearance, not be like a backdoor appearance, or he's been there the entire time type of thing. Like, that's lazy, and I'm aggravated with Warner Brothers and DC is that how disrespectful it is to the character. And I like the guy who, is John Diggle, the actor. I think he's a great actor. And I kind of see why they want to keep him around, but it's just like, why don't you just keep him around and put him in Green Arrows and the Canaries? Like, I mean, I understand you want to go for the Charlie Angel superhero shit, but why didn't you just keep him around and be like, this, mentor figure to Oliver's daughter? Be her, I wouldn't say Alfred, kind of like her Alfred, minus the butler, just the mentor, second father figure, like something like that. Why do you all of a sudden like go like, he's Jon Stewart, he's a Green Lantern? It's dumb. It's Bush League. It's laziness. That's what it is. It's pure laziness. It's not really creative and groundbreaking. It's like there's several actors. There's like one actor I want to see play Jon Stewart, and that's Common. He was great in Wanted. He was in the film Wanted. He was actually really good, and that's like the one actor I kind of want to see play Jon Stewart Green Lantern. Like he's older. He's been around. He knows what it's like to be the Green Lantern. And all of a sudden, you have this hotshot rookie named Hal Jordan show up, and that's kind of what I wanted to see. Like, I didn't want to see like John Diggle, you are really Jon Stewart type of thing. Like, I kind of I'm annoyed with it. But and the thing is, it's like it's their way of like carrying on Arrow because somewhere Jon Stewart is gonna be like, I knew a human who was just like you. His name is Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow. He was a brave man. They're gonna fucking do that. They're gonna do that. It's just they're gonna do that. I know these people. They're gonna do it. They're gonna bring that up. I'm annoying. I mean, I like Stephen Amell, and I love Arrow. It was a great show. It was a great show. Like the first season was phenomenal. Second was okay, and then it went downhill. But it's not like The Flash. The Flash started out fucking amazing. Second season was good. Third was and poof. Yeah, like that's what they're gonna do. But now do I think they're gonna some way bring Oliver Queen back to do like the next big crossover? I think wasn't he like the Spectre? Like wasn't he like? Mind you, I didn't get to watch like the Crisis because I got really angry when they killed Bruce Wayne Batman off. That kind of went like, I'm done. It's kind of like the nicest way of, come on, Kevin Conroy, you're gonna play live action Batman. All right, bam, killed, done. So. I was saying, like my thoughts of whole Jon Stewart, John Diggle thing. They're gonna get, a lot of people are getting mad about that, but I don't really care. David Ramsey's Diggle narrates as getting ready to move Metropolis where crisis emerged. Tyler Hoechlin's Superman and Supergirl, all in the CWDC characters universe on one Earth. He sees something fall from the sky, which blasts him back. Diggle gets up, and it's a glowing box. However, the Green Lantern ring is never shown. Just as spoilers describe, not said, and Diggle is never shown as a member of the Green Lantern Corps. Can you imagine that they don't even do it? That'd be really bad. Aside the green light, the only hint it relates is when Diggle regards the death of Stephen Amell's Oliver Queen. Because if the past 8 years has shown us anything, is that this universe is far bigger than any of us could ever dare imagine. Even if it's a little less bright without him in it. I mean, I'll admit that was a great dialogue. I'll admit. WB probably didn't let John Diggle become Green Lantern. It was a reference where the Flash of Earth 90 remarks to Diggle saying, "Hello, John, you're not wearing your ring." to Diggle's stepfather being named General Roy Stewart. Regarding to the why Green Lantern wasn't allowed to be used, we know that there is plans for a movie and TV series. The Green Lantern HBO Max series was recently announced. Jeff Johns has also supposedly developed a Green Lantern movie with Hal Jordan and John Stewart, as it is listed on production website, and it's been rumored and told that J.J. Abrams wants to tackle the Green Lantern as well. I mean, I kind of feel bad for David Z. I think that's the actor. It's like when you imagine they bring him in the next Crisis, and you're like, well, what was in the green box? I don't know. Type of thing. Like, it'd be kind of bad for him. Let's see. There's something I got a message about. Hold on, checking to see what it is. Oh, here it is. Do you remember when they brought Red Tornado on Supergirl? I did remember that, yeah. For those who don't remember, Supergirl brought in another superhero, which was Red Tornado, and it was like the worst design for a superhero I have ever seen in my life. Because this is how cheap Supergirl the show was. They brought in Red Tornado, which was, I think, the answer to Vision. And it was like the worst design look ever. Ever, in my opinion. And it got to the point like where they did like a close-up of Red Tornado. They brought him in as like a villain, which was dumb. Because Red Tornado isn't a villain, he's a superhero, but, in the eyes of Supergirl, he's a villain. And it was like the most humiliating and disturbing way they brought him in. And when they did a close-up of him, you see him wearing red makeup. Like, they didn't even like go so far of like putting a mask, on him, making like an Iron Man type, an Iron Man type thing. But instead, he had makeup. And it was like the stupidest look I have ever seen in my life. It was like so dumb looking. And they brought him in as a villain to sort of like match Supergirl. Kara and her friends discovered that the android was controlled by Morrow, who was fired by Sam Lane. They wanted to get revenge on him. After Morrow's death, Red Tornado gained self-conscious, but he was destroyed by Supergirl. Of course. Unfortunately, using all her solar power strength to defeat him.
Then they brought him back.
And Red Tornado of Earth X, The Crisis on Earth X, otherwise known as what I call, the heroes versus the Nazis. That's what I call it, because basically it's what it is. Yeah. And that was a dumb crossover, by the way. That was a lousy crossover event. And of course, Red Tornado is the villain again, and the Flash and Ray are forced to destroy Red Tornado, hitting him with attacks and stuff. Apparently, CW has a hatred for. They apparently have a hatred for Red Tornado. They must. And there's also been a rumor of Wonder Twins happening. Anyway, let's get to Hollywood Night. Last we picked up, Irma encounters Byron Wyatt, Batman.
And she ends up calling Rob, the actor who played Rob.
Rob is sitting at his beachside house, reading the newspaper as the phone rings as the sunset comes down. Rob picks up. Irma. Rob, oh my God. I was so scared. He was here. I sent him away. I sent him to you. Just as you instructed. But you gotta call the cops. He's totally off his rockers. Calm down, sweetheart. Whatever happened out there in the desert must have driven him over the edge, but as long as he believes he's the Batman, his moral code won't allow him to hurt anyone innocent. Because Batman doesn't harm innocent people. I mean, if someone acts out of, he doesn't kill anybody. He just, like in Dark Knight Returns, he cripples the one thug, and Batman's response is, he's young. He'll walk again. But you'll be scared, won't you, punk? He'll cripple somebody. He won't kill them, but he'll cripple them. Just for them to remember, like, years down the road, they have the leg pain. They'll just be like, oh, I remember Batman broke my leg, and I won't harm no one. Irma. Rob, you gotta call the police before... Rob, no. They may be involved. Leave them out of this. Until we know more. I'll handle it from here, Irma. This should have been a movie. I mean, it should have been a movie. It should have been a movie made, because I really like the story and how they sort of tie in all these, the classic Hollywood stories and stuff.
Rob thinks to himself, Wyatt's the best friend I've ever had. I gotta find a way to...
Psychosis. Later that evening, Rob sits in his chair in a dark room. The window opens. Wyatt comes in. As Batman. Robert Davis. Does your heart cry out for vengeance? Rob responds. Byron turns on the lamp. Wyatt covers his cape as he looks. You know who I am. And what I am. I'm the Dark Avenger, creature of the night. And... Rob, no, you're Byron Wyatt. You're an actor and my best friend. You've got to remember Byron Wyatt. Byron holds his head. and yells, "No, I am the Batman. White is dead. Murder along with his crew." Rob, the truth is coming here. It is a cry for help. Please, let me help you, Rob says to Byron. You must try to remember, Byron. You're an actor. You're playing Batman in the movies. Lies, Byron yells. White was a cowardly and weak. He allowed his friends to be slaughtered like animals. I am nothing like him. Nothing. I am the Batman. I will bring his killers to justice. Rob, with his thoughts, Byron, self-loathing have been so great. It's keeping him trapped in his Batman persona. It could prove dangerous too, and provoke him any further. I need another way to help him out of this. Rob says, "So, Batman, do you have any clues of the identities of your killers?" Byron looks at the corner of his eyes at Rob.
Oh, I remember this one comic. Batman. Sorry, this is an ad. The original DC universe. An epic tale, epic Elseworld story. Batman and a Legion of Batmen. I've been trying to. Fun fact: I've been trying to find this comic for years. I'm gonna look.
This one part. Call 1-800-1888 comic books. Comic book. To find your nearest comic shop. This was back in 2001. This before Google Maps and stuff, where you could find stores near you on your mobile phone. 2001 was a bitch because you had a hard time finding comics. You were lucky to find comics, and so that's why I had to go to Slacker, CD and Games, and they sell comics now. Slackers is gone, sadly. And I have to go to, I went to this like Dark Side Comics. I talked about it before. I went to Dark Sides, and they changed ownerships, which changed hours, which they have like the oddest hours ever. Like the oddest hours. And now I changed stores and went to V Stock, which is, well, it's called V Stock. Most people call it vintage stock. But V Stock, where it's like Slackers, except it's much clean. Like Slackers was like this. Best way to describe it, it's like a grunge shop. You know, grunge rock. You know, like Nirvana. You know, grunge music. It was kind of like that. It kind of had like this grungy like look, where it had like posters and cardboard, standouts of characters. And it was a very, I wouldn't say messy store, but it had like this look of like messy look to it. And it had like loud music, which as a kid I couldn't stand because I didn't like loud noises and stuff. I'm like very anxiety ridden. Like I just did not like loud noises and music because, I don't know why. I was just kind of that way. So anyway, I like V Stock. I mean, V Stock plays like good music. It's kind of weird though because every time I go in there, they always play Billie Eilish's "Bad Guy." Every time I entered the store, somehow they would play that song "Bad Guy." I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. And the song got stuck in my head like several times. I'm like, I get it, white shirts, bloody nose. I get it. And I'm not making this up. I was humming the song all the way home. I don't know why. I came close like buying it on my iPhone, but I didn't. So anyway. So anyway. Wyatt states. Wyatt looks at Byron. I've learned that the head of Arkham Studios, a man called the Joker, is pulling the strings.
Using an underworld gang known as the Winter Mob as his muscle. I suspect the Joker has important police officials on his payroll who are helping him to cover up key evidence, those papers. You will have to help me. You will have to help implicate Arkham. I'm very close to bringing them all to justice.
Sigh.
You and son pursuing this crusade. You're going to need some help.
Rob walks into his room. Wait here for a moment. I will do something incredibly stupid. Rob yells from the other room. We've been friends too long for me.
And you now, Rob said. If you insist on endangering your life, then someone with a full deck of cards should keep an eye on you.
Walks out of the room. I should probably have my head examined for doing this. If you can't cure him, join him. You've got your partner, Batman. Let's go. Rob is dressed as Robin. So that's the end of book 2 of Hollywood Night. Might as well get to the third one because. Hold on, let me put this back in the bag and forward. There's book 3. Oops.
Anyway.
Let's see what this question is. Do you think Batwoman will have a better second season than the first? I honestly don't know. I mean, the thing that they need to do to become a better show is to get a new writer, a better head writer, who doesn't want to live in the shadows of Batman. And that's the problem with Batwoman. Looking at the show, it has the potential to become a better, I wouldn't say a better show, but it has the potential to become something new and really interesting to get people to watch. But they don't. They have the audience. Batwoman has the audience. But they don't want that audience. Instead, they're like, we want to reach out to the lesbian female, audience, which, I don't want to sound offensive, but that audience isn't really going to watch the show. Here's the thing about it. The oddest thing about it was when they cast Ruby Rose to play Batwoman, a lot of lesbian women were not happy with that casting because they didn't really find her convincing. Here's the thing about it. You cast a supermodel to play a superhero.
I have nothing against Ruby Rose. I seen her in that one shark movie with Rainn Wilson. You had the opportunity to get an unknown actress, an actress that they'd never heard of. Nobody's never heard of. Like, for example, Supergirl. They cast an actress that nobody never heard of, ever, to play Supergirl, but instead you got an actress, a supermodel actress, best known being in a supporting role, because she isn't a leading actress, to play Batwoman, the title and lead actress. So, I mean, that's the problem with it. And the whole thing about it was, afterwards, it didn't become the actress's the problem with the actress. It became the problem with the writing and the trailer and the promos to hype up the show. Like, right at the trailer, they went at Batman, saying the Batsuit would look better on a woman. That became a problem because it became an insult towards Batman, saying like Batman isn't, the best. A woman is. Then, when the first episode, Batwoman got mad because she basically wore the Batsuit, and everyone's like, is that Batman? Which, you look at her in the Batsuit, and you're like, there's no fucking way that is Batman. Because, one, she is short. She's small. It's like, there's no way that's Batman. I don't even know how the hell she fit in the Batsuit, because, like, you look at the Batsuit, like, Batman is, like, 6 foot tall, and he's, like, jacked to the gills, and Ruby Rose, not Ruby Rose. I kept saying Riot. I'm thinking of the wrestler Ruby Riot, because she would have been better as Batwoman. She's fucking crazy. But Ruby Rose is small. She's skinny. Like, Bane could break her like a toothpick. Like, anyway, I said Riot throughout the whole thing. Ruby Rose should have been, Ruby Riot should have played Batwoman, because she would have been more convincing. She's a wrestler, so she could beat the shit out of anybody. So, anyway, I like the funny thing about it when I look at this comic, I love the ads in it. Like, the ads are like funny, like Tang orange juice pouches. I remember these, like Tang pouches. They had Tang orange juice, strawberry, tropical, fruit frenzy, and cherry. I always got the strawberry pouches. I don't even think they make these anymore, which is kind of sad. Like, now they make them like powder, which tastes bad. So, anyway, yeah, I always got the strawberry, but I always like the peach tea. Like, I always love peaches. Like, peaches are really good. They're very delicious. Yeah. So, this issue is called Batman Hollywood Night number 3, Real Trouble. Hollywood, 1948. Actor, CEO of Gotham Pictures, Byron Wyatt, has recently suffered a severe head trauma. Prior to the injury, he played the Batman in his company's weekly movie serials. Now, the asthmatic actor amnesiac actor believes he's the Dark Knight himself, despite the mounting evidence to the contrary. I love the beginning of the panel of the book. This giant, one drawing. It's him reading up Detective Comics number 38. Sorry, Detective Comics number 27. It's the first issue of Batman. His appearance.
Showing up.
He says in the Batman voice, I am not a comic book character. Which kind of makes me laugh. But the next parts of it kind of makes me cry because he rips it up in anger. It's like, dude, you ripped up $1 billion book. You know. Robin, this book reveals my most guarded secrets in vivid detail. Rob, Wyatt, I'm your friend, otherwise I wouldn't be dressed up in this ridiculous getup, being chased by the cops. Try to remember, my name is Rob Davis, not Robin. I'm a stuntman, an actor who plays the boy wonder opposite you in the serials. Rob, but this book, how does it know so much about me? Rob, because the Batman is a fictional character, you knucklehead. You are Byron Wyatt. Come on, try to remember. Wyatt, I remember the desert. Then there were gunshots and blinding pain. Then they killed Wyatt. They shot him in cold blood. Rob. Rob rips up the Batman book, number 27, painfully. This book is some sort of trick. He rips up the book and throws it out the window. Bastard. Quit trying to confuse me. I know who I am and what I must do. I'm bringing those killers to justice with or without your help. Rob yells. I know I'm supposed to yell, but I really don't feel like it. Rob, whatever you say, Batman. I should let the authorities have him, but becoming obvious that some of them are on the take given the cover of the Desert Massacre. If the cops get their hands on him, the chances are damn good they would wind up convincingly hanging in a cell, kind of like Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein did not kill himself. I am throwing that out there. It's conspiracy theory. Epstein did not kill himself. How eerie that this was in the panel. I gotta find a way to snap him out of this delusional state before he gets us both killed. And I love this editorial note. A small little editorial box. Editorial note. See issue number 1. Shriek. We need to get out of town. Ditch this car. Rob says. Wyatt. I'm calling him Rob and Wyatt because it's kind of like they're actors in a suit, so I'm just gonna call him that. Wyatt. I know where to go, Robin, but you'll need to lose those cops first. Rob drives off a bridge. No problem, I'll take a shortcut, hang on. Clank. They drive off a bridge, landing on the road. Good thing the stunt vehicle is equipped with heavy-duty shocks and suspensions. Otherwise, the cops would be scrapping us off the pavement, putting a knife about now. And you see like the cover of Detective Comics 27 in the air. Can't believe he ripped that up. So where do we go from here, Buyer Batman? Green Lantern Will World. I love the art thing where it has like many things coming out of his head, and he's like holding his head like it looks like he has a headache. Death Valley, California. A few hours later. It looks like an opening to a mine, Bob says why it is. They get out of the car and walk towards the mine entryway. We will be safe here until we can determine what our next move will be. Al Penny stands out the mine holding his rifle. We'll get a gander at you two. Circus must be in town. Rob, who the devil is this smelly old coot? Wyatt. Next to you, Al Penny, the only other person I could trust. Sorry, had to do my southern accent. Later that evening, after an exhausted Wyatt falls asleep. Rob, Wyatt's a total stranger with a ton of trouble nipping at his heels. What are we gonna do? Why are we doing this, Al? Al, Sonny, for as long as I can remember, I totaled away at this worthless mine, hoping to strike it rich. I love this version of Alfred. If they ever bring Alfred back, bring him back as a southern coot who is like obsessed with mining. That's what I want. But it's never happened, oddly enough. It was very day I decided to abandon my prospecting and head back to Los Angeles that I came upon your wounded friend in the desert. When he told me he had been sent from heaven to avenge the deaths of those poor folks. I love this version of Alfred. Like, I want this version of Alfred back. Forget the snooty British butler. Bring back the southern, cowboy, y'all, mining, prospecting Alfred. I want this version.
I don't want the snooty butler. It's great.
I remember reading this. I was like laughing as a kid, like laughing hysterically at how the writing is, and I want this version of Alfred now. I took it, good Lord, that he might lead me to my destiny. The old prospecting listens, listening as Davis explains the events transpired before Wyatt's fateful brain injury. Then, so what you're saying? He's a nutter. Then squirrel droppings. I love this. That's why it's It's why it's important that we do whatever we can to snap him out of this delusional state. He's the only eyewitness to his ghastly multiple murders. but it is.
The judge would find him contempt to testify.
Rob said. Rob continues. There have been a few moments when I've seen the true personalities trying to resonate itself, but it's going to take more time for the brain to heal and the correct stimulations to trigger his memories. Had to burp. Ow. With the cops and the movie studio goons trying to kill him, he ain't gonna get much a chance to get better, boy. Al continues. Hey, Wyatt must be a rich slob. Why not just pay everyone off? Rob grabs Al's shoulders with a smile. That's it, old-timer. Al, bribery? Rob runs. More like barter. Wyatt's safety in return for something they want very badly. Wyatt, the next morning, Byron awakens to the sound approaching hubs. He walks out of the cave, covering his eyes from the bright sunlight. Al, Robin. Byron holds his cape and cowl as he walks up the hill. Penny, where were you? Where's Robin? Al sits on his horse. Old Bessie and I gave Mr. Davis a ride to the city limits. I just love this version of Al. I want this version of Alfred to come back. Like, if he ever comes back from the dead, have him come back like this. Just have him come back and he's talking and stuff, you know. It'd be great. I would want to see that. Byron puts his cape and cowl on. I can't believe he run out on me. Al, it ain't nothing of a sorts. He's got a plan to end all your troubles. Byron, what sort of plan? Al, he's going to some place called Arkham Studios to meet that Joker fella. Old Birdie Boy believes he can bargain with Napier, call off his dogs, and clear your name. Byron, that fool, he doesn't realize what kind of animals he's dealing with. Byron runs to his car. Once they get what it is they want, they'll have no choice but to kill us all. He runs to the Batmobile. Arkham Pictures. Later that day, in an executive office of Arkham Studios, I assure you I will have the full power of attorney over Gotham Pictures, Mr. Napier. Once I sign over the company to you, I'll expect you to call off your goons, Bob said, and clear Wyatt's name with the authorities. All I want is to get him psychiatric help. Napier, personally, I don't care if you sign that blasted thing or not, Chrome Dome. The bad publicity generated by your psychotic bat friend rendered Gotham's license worthless to me. But you, on the other hand, you have to prove quite valuable. Winters and his goons enter the office, and we see this ad. Pokemon Stadium 2. on the Nintendo 64. I remember I had the first Pokemon Studios game. I never played Pokemon Stadium 2, and it's kind of really cool back in the day. I'm surprised they never... I know they probably brought it back, but it was really cool back in the day. I had the first one, and I had, oddly enough, the Pikachu game. What is it called? Like, I remember back in the day, it was really cool. You had a microphone attached to your Nintendo 64 controller, and you say, "Hey, Pikachu." Sorry, I had to get a drink of peach tea. Really good. Peach tea. And it was "Hey, Pikachu," and it was kind of like Virtual Pet, except you had it was more like a virtual friend. And you say, "Hey, Pikachu," and Pikachu shows up and says, "Pika Pika," and you go on an adventure and stuff. And it was really, I felt like an idiot playing it, because I had the microphone attached to my green controller, because I had the Nintendo green thing, and I said, "Hey, Pikachu," and I kind of look like an idiot. And I love Pikachu. Yeah. It was really it was a really awkward video game when you play it, and stuff. And I really did not know what the hell I was doing. I thought it was so cool. Like, you could use your voice to control it, and it was fun back in the day. So they never make stuff like that. I don't know if they do now. I don't know. I haven't played I haven't played Pokemon Go, so I don't know. So anyway, back to the comic. As the night descends on Arkham Studios' lot, a bat signal is lit in the sky. Doesn't it seem sort of goofy to you, Maxie? Knuckles says, "Actually, I think the boss is a genius, Chucky. If you were screwed up enough in the head, I would believe that you were the Batman. Wouldn't you answer the signal?" "You got a point there, Maxie. But you never get me in those tights, hee-hee." Meanwhile, on the soundstage below, Mr. Winters wipes the blood off his knuckles, and his blood splatter on his suit jacket. "I'm going to have to add the cost of a new suit to my commission, Mr. Napier." "Fair enough, but it's Davis's fault. Never wouldn't taken him for a bleeder in his line of work. It's necessary to beat him so severely, Mr. Winter. His Bat Buddy is responsible for my losing some good men, valuable merchandise. Just wouldn't be proper to simply just shoot the poor bum." "Oh, you're so right. Where are my manners?" Napier laughs as Davis spits blood out of his mouth. At that moment on the rooftop, "Hey, Maxie, did you hear something? We're 4 stories up. What could it possibly be other than a bird?" Batman Wyatt descends from the sky. "Gulp, maybe him." Gulp. "Holy Couldn't say even a word. Yeah, this is definitely like the 2000s. Right Guard Extreme Sport ad with Tom Green. Definitely the 2000s. Thump, bump, bang. What the hell's going on up there? Winter says. Our cue, Mr. Winter. Places, everyone. Show's about to commence. A few moments later, Wyatt looks down and sees Rob tied up to a chair, beaten. Robin, he says. Wyatt says as he climbs down a ladder. Wyatt, Rob says, you've got to get out of here, now. Had to burp. Because it's a trap, you deranged moron, Napier says as he turns on the light. Please, don't mind full not to damage the set. Arkham has spent a fortune getting the oversized props for an upcoming film titled Sensational Shrunken Man. By the way, this is a reference to like the 1940s Batman, 1940s, 50s Batman, where Batman like fights on this, this big musical, like they did in the Brave and the Bold animated series, where Batman and Robin fights the Joker on this like giant music set. I think they did it as well in the animated series, the new Batman Adventures, where they did like the Dark Knight Returns, and they did the 1940s, and they did sort of like a jab at Joel Schumacher, and I think they did like the animated series, and it was like three kids telling different legends of Batman. So they use like this giant like musical props where they fought the Joker and stuff. It was really cool, and I love that little reference to it, like because they had the giant typewriter, phone, coffee mug, and all that. Like, anyway, Winter, sure thing, Mr. Napier. You heard the boss. Try not to bleed all over the set, okay? They have their guns out, pointing at Batman, Byron. As the gun is pointed at Wyatt in the bat suit, Napier, Mr. Wyatt, I put together a little slide presentation. Is his face familiar? Just like the one underneath the pointy ears, I imagine. The slide is Wyatt as Napier points at the projector screen. Oh, here's a scene I particularly enjoy. This is you scuffling with Mr. Winter's men at the Kit Kat Club. Hee hee. Masterful combat techniques. Who did you learn them from? Shirley Temple? Wyatt holds his head. You got a lot of nerve billing yourself as an actor when you can't even portray a man convincingly. Wyatt, stop. Stop it. I am not that person. Napier holds a gun. Thanks to you, murderers escaped. The Batman will remembered by movie audiences as some deranged LA psycho killer. Wyatt, no. I would have never done anything. Solely the name of Batman. Napier, since you robbed me, coveted prize, only fair that returned the favor. by stripping you of your delusional security blanket before I kill you. He he he. Winter, come on. Shoot the poor nut job. Be done with it. Winter, the only material witness to our commission of the Ghost Town massacre, the last thing we need for him to get all his marbles back, Napier. But I'm having way too much fun, Mr. Mr. Winter. Enough already. Winter gets his gun out of his holster. I was sloppy the first time putting a slug in your head, Bat Boy, this time. However, I can guarantee that you won't be getting back, blam. And I love the next ad, the comic book ad. The JLA Justice League. I actually enjoyed the JLA comics in the 2000s. I think Grant Morrison was writing them, I think. I really enjoy Morrison's run on it. It was really a cool run. And I love the artwork. I think the artwork was like the coolest thing ever. Like the design of Batman was like very cool looking. But anyway, the next one is a action figure, deluxe action figure set. The main man and his main ride, Lobo with cycle, and his Lobo the bounty hunter with his his motorcycle and his dog. So. A gunshot hits Winters in the gut. Al Penny standing with his rifle. His Western rifle. It's a good thing I've got bored of waiting around in that stupid bat car. Listen here, son. It doesn't matter what you think you are. 'Cause the time for you to be a man and start dishing out some payback. I love that. The old prospector's intervention snaps Byron's mind back to clarity as the old man is right. No matter who I am, I know that you must pay for your crimes, Napier. I really want this version of Alfred. I really do. I really want this version of Alfred. I really do. Would you imagine like Alfred just stands there? So anyway, they're firing at Al. Missing Al. Oh hell. Rob jumps. Get down, Penny. Al. I reckon those boys are peeved that I shot their boss. Wait, hold on. I got a comment. You sound like, if you know the cartoon Hey Arnold, you sound like Stinky when he talks. Doing the Al Penny voice. You sound like an older version of Stinky as an adult from Hey Arnold. They need to do an animated movie with your voice as adult Stinky. Oh god. I remember that. I gotta find a video and play it of what Stinky sounds like as an adult. Rob, brilliant deductional timer. Now stay down and let me deal with those gunmen. Rob climbs up to the balcony of the set, the studio set, as one of the thugs yells, "Damn, I can't get a bean on him." The one guy This guy moves like grease lightning. Oh shit. That's like the Go Grease Lightning. Yes, I did see the movie Grease, so yeah. I grew up watching that stupid movie. I mean, it's not stupid, it's not bad, but anyway. Rob, this lighting equipment ought to make for some nasty concussions. He drops the lights on the thugs. Oomph. One gets hit. And the next one. Batman knocks the gun out of Napier's hand. Napier, my gun. Napier runs to the giant desk chair. Wyatt, let's see how tough you are without it, laughing boy. Napier, somebody shoot him, for God's sakes. He's trying to kill me. As the remaining gunmen train their weapons, Rob Rob slides down with the rope, kicking them in the face. I'll take care of these goons, Wyatt. Don't let that grinning idiot get away. Napier, stay back, I'm warning you. Wyatt, you're going to turn yourself in and confess to your crimes, Joker. Napier, don't ever call me that. Napier throws down the pencils, erasers, paper clips at Wyatt. I had no idea how powerful. You don't have no idea how powerful a man I am. I am Jack Napier. I own this stinking town. No one tells me what to do. Napier runs on top of a typewriter as Wyatt chases after him. He gets into typewriting things. Wyatt hits the keys as the typewriter hits Napier and goes between him, typing on the paper, scaring him. Napier jumps out of the typewriter, saying, "Damn those jerks in those prop department, making this construction functional." Napier reaches the edge of the desk. "End of the line, Napier," Wyatt said. "Nowhere left to run." Napier turns around. "Hey, the Batman would have never killed anyone in cold blood. You should know that." Wyatt, "But I'm not the Batman. I remember everything now." Wyatt removes the cowl. "I am Byron Wyatt, the man whose friends you massacred. The man you attempted to ruin and murder. And I'm not afraid anymore." Gunshots are fired before Wyatt can make a move for the kill. The two are caught in a hail of gunfire as Winters fires. Winter gasps. "Both of you are lunatics." He chokes as he's holding his chest with blood pouring out. "A condo in hell." He chokes. "After I send you there." Napier is hit in the head. The gun fires. Wyatt is hit in the shoulder. Napier. One down, and Napier falls off the desk after getting shot in the head. One to go, Winter says. Rob hits Winter with a chair. "No, you don't, buddy. My friend has seen enough hell for one lifetime." Winters and his goons run. With their boss dead, the remaining gunmen have little inconvenience to continue. Wyatt looks down holding his shoulder, seeing Napier's dead body. It looks like the last laugh is on you, Joker. Rob, Wyatt, do you need a doctor? Wyatt, for what I need is for you to get the film from the boom cameras and find a safe place to hide it. Rob, holy cats, you filmed the entire thing? Rob asked. Wyatt, yep. I turned the cameras on when I entered the building. I believe the district attorney will find this drama highly entertaining. And I see... Oh, I gotta go feed the cats outside. I see Romeo and them running down the snowy hill playing. Some months later, in a rundown diner, somewhere off the desert. In our final story, the sensational Batman trial concludes yesterday as the jury ruled out in favor of Byron Wyatt and the family of those slain in the infamous Arkham Desert Massacre. By the way, I want to point out one thing in the panel that I really like in a diner is in the background there's a character that looks like Dick Tracy. For those who don't know, Dick Tracy is a comic strip character that was made into a film. And originally, before the 1960s Batman show happened, they were going to make a Dick Tracy TV series, which was done by the same team that did the Batman show. It's a really cool fact, so I kind of like it. But anyway, the radio. Judge Harold Wilson awarded the plaintiffs over $75 million in damages, effectively bankrupting Arkham Studios. A man reads the newspaper today, the Mirror, real-life Batman. One man, what a crock. What a crock. That loony runs around in a goofy bat costume terrorizing Hollywood for weeks and winds up a millionaire? If you ask me, it was all a big publicity stunt. A man stands up from his diner table. Gentlemen, I believe whatever you wish, but take my word for it. For a short time, Byron Wyatt was truly the Batman. And it's Al Penny in a suit. I love how he speaks. In the beginning of most of the comic, like a southerner, now he speaks like a wealthy rich man in a suit. And that was the end of the Hollywood Night. That was a good comic, by the way. Yeah, I waited like every month for the book to come out, and I was like so excited to read it, and I was so happy that it ended. Like, it sort of picked up and like it finally ended and stuff. It was kind of a shame that Layton, I think he did like 2 Batman books, The Hollywood Night, and he did Dark Knights of the Round Table, which was sort of like a cool medieval book. And he only did 2. Like, he really didn't do a whole lot of Batman books, which kind of sucked because there were so many like good Iron Man stories he did, like, and for me it was kind of sad that he never done another Batman book. I think now he like has his own comic company, Valiant Comics, so yeah, that was kind of exciting thing. So, one thing I really liked about it was the Al character, Al Penny. I just love how kooky and crazy Al Penny was with his southern talking and stuff. Anyway, it is snowing outside and it is really, wow, nice. I am not a big winter person, so anyway, let's get to other articles, and I think I want to read this. I want to see what other stories they have on phantomsandmonsters.com. Usually they have a good story. We did the owl thing, which was really cool. Which I thought was pretty funny. Let's see. A cloaked, wrinkled EBE encounter. I don't even know what the fuck that is. EBE confronted in Norway. Entity description was a brown, wrinkly, 1 foot in height, around 3 a.m. fall of 2008 in Norway. State of mind: no drugs, alcohol, medication, or anything mental illness, or any history of mental illness. Never experienced a hallucination before or after. I love how the person just puts it in there. Then they did a drawing of what the character thing looked like. Kind of weird, but Family panicked after a possibility of alien encounters in southeast Indiana. I want to read this one. I found this one interesting. This incident isn't recent. It actually makes me cry when I think about it, and I will probably cry while writing it. Anyway, I was 19 now. I'm 19 now, but this experience took place when I was 12. This was a night encounter encounter happened. Everything was pretty normal. Sorry, my voice broke. I was going back to school next morning after summer break, so I had to be in bed early than I would liked. I remember falling asleep to a movie, Meet the Robinsons, playing probably at 10:30 p.m. You see, I can't go to sleep watching a movie. I can't go to sleep watching a movie. Like, one time I had a hard time sleeping because my neighbors decided to make a bunch of noise running through their house. I don't know why. I probably think they're fucking crazy, but anyway, I can't go to sleep watching a movie, so. And then I woke up. I knew it had been late. The first thing I registered was the TV was completely scrambled. The image, almost like a DVD that doesn't want to play, so it skips. But it was frozen. The images was warped and boxy. Except the Meet the Robinsons movie DVD wasn't damaged. I guess it was around 2 or 3 a.m. Second thing I registered was the voices coming from the kitchen. I got out of bed to see what was going on, because the voices were talking pretty loud. They sounded kind of panicked. When I got to the kitchen, I realized it was my mom and my older sister, who was 18 at the time. They were arguing. First thing I picked up and comprehended was the conversation was my mom saying, "Those are definitely aliens. What the fuck else can they be?" She was almost hysterical. Neither of them saw me. I entered the kitchen. I asked what was going on. My mom looked at me, and I knew she was scared and shaken. She literally had tears in her eyes. She told me, in an almost sad voice, that those were aliens outside. At the point, they were all standing in the kitchen, in front of our sliding glass door that looked out to our yard and the field across the road. I was confused, so she pulled me back. She pulled back the curtain to the kitchen door. I didn't see anything, literally. I looked hard enough, and I saw my German Shepherd / Great Dane mix standing in the middle of the yard in the direction of the neighbors, which were on the right side. I asked my mom, why wasn't he on the porch like normal? And why was he sitting so still? To that she said, open the door very slowly not to make much noise, I assume. And usually when the door to the house opens, my dog will look towards the sound of it if he is around the yard. Which he was, but didn't even look at us. He gazed and remained undeterred. I didn't realize what was going on. I was scared because my mom was clearly scared, as was my older sister. My mom signaled my sister and I to be quiet, and we were. You see, I noticed that one thing I had to pick up is alien encounters happen to normal people. You never see hillbillies or rednecks encountering aliens. You know why? Hillbillies and rednecks, they have guns. They will shoot at extraterrestrial aliens that come near them. That's why I always said, if there's ever an alien or zombie invasion, I'm going to my sister's, because she has guns. That's where I'm going. I will pack up my backpack and shit, grab my cat and dog, and we're going the fuck over there. But, I realize that if there's ever, an alien invasion, I'm going to my sister and be like, you got guns? I'm safe. I just realized that. If there's ever a zombie apocalypse, I'm prepared for that shit. I seen The Walking Dead. All you need is a bat. I'm surprised, one thing, with The Walking Dead, Negan has, his barbed wire bat. I noticed, they never make a zombie character with a bat with nails in it, for spiked nails and stuff. Just pointing that out. But anyway, you could, on a normal night, hear animals in the woods, or trees in the wind. Crickets chirping. Tree frogs, apparently they don't have. Because it was summer. But that night, we couldn't hear anything. It was completely silent outside. Not even a breeze. This gives me chills that made me shake. Something was terribly off. My mom shut the door. My sister and I followed her to her bedroom, where my dad was asleep. I love how the dad is asleep. He's asleep. He's just I don't give a shit. It's aliens. I'm going to sleep. The dad is asleep, and they're freaking the fuck out over aliens. And the window was open. There, she explained to me what was going on. She told that my sister was in my room looking for something and peeked out the window. My room is in the back of the house. And my window looks out to the trees behind the house. So, where the window, behind the house. Alright. She saw what she thought was a pack of coyotes, but there were about 30 of them. Shit. And the closer she looked, she started to see disfigured features. And that's where she dipped out of my room and went and told my mom. My mom told me that they walked outside before my sister came to her about what she saw. And saw a tall, dark, slender figure walking down the neighbor's driveway towards our house. She thought it was the neighbor coming over for some reason. But then she got scared. Suddenly she got scared. She got scared suddenly and felt it was best to pretend to be asleep, so she wouldn't have talked to the neighbor. And those events led us to the kitchen window, and that overlooked the two neighboring houses right next to each other. It was dark, but we were looking very hard, and we could start to make out the shadowy figures. Most of them were small, moving super fast. So fast if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't even notice. And if you were paid more attention, you could see the slower, taller ones. They moved slow. Silhouettes were dark than their background, but they were almost fluid looking. It just did not look real. And this sucks. But we didn't even think about it, grabbing a camera or trying to catch pictures, which I regret thinking back. Damn, this is a long fucking story. Another thing I noticed, and it's worth mentioning, was that behind the neighbors' houses, they had woods too. Well, within the trees are very low to the ground. There were 3 eventually spaced lights. One green, the other red, the other blue, I think. It could be purple, I don't know. That's just me kind of throwing it in. The lights were pretty dim, and they were there before. We watched out the windows 10 minutes, freaking out. My mom almost wheezing at the point. She was so shocked. After that, she looked at us. After that, she took us to her room, opened the windows, which I didn't like. Made me nervous. Not the dad. The dad's like asleep at this point. What do you imagine next morning? Why are you all tired? She told us to be quiet. Just like the dad who's asleep. And since we couldn't hear anything, all coming from outside, we sat in silence until we heard the sound like a car passing on the road. There was an engine sound, but we could see the road from my mom's window, and there was no car, no headlights, nothing. But the engine was buzzing loud and turned into sounding like a plane passing over the house. This sounds like the one that I read in Illinois. Remember the one in Illinois? where the dude had like this, as he puts it, like an encounter, and he had like this hearing something that sounded like a noise buzzing like a plane. That's what it reminds me of, like that alien encounter where he had like all this vibrations and he heard like alien, like airplane noises. That's how loud it got. It lasted for a minute, just like the one in Illinois. The one that I described as like my doppelganger, which is pretty funny. And it was completely silent again. After a few minutes, it would repeat the engine's sound. Alright, we're getting to the end of the story finally. After all these happened, my mom shut the window and closed the curtains. And we sat in her room, all of us basically shaking. Anyway, another thing to point out was I did eventually work up the courage to go back in my room. But a few hours later, it was starting to get light out. The TV was scrambled, so I tried to eject the disc. It wasn't working. I ended up unplugging the DVD player, but to get the scramble off the TV. That's about what happened that night. But it freaked me out terribly. I didn't mention it to anyone except the people I trust in my life. But even then, they sometimes don't get to hear the full story. But I want to know your thoughts on this. Is this a rational explanation? Is there any rational explanation? This was probably the year was probably 2013, but I don't remember that. I don't remember the day. It might have been Sunday evening into Monday morning. It was at the house that I still live in currently, in the southeast of Indiana, probably August since I starting school. So the summer. It was definitely to make the year 2013. Now that I think about it. I don't really understand. I mean, the thing I want to point out is it's kind of a bizarre story. Like a really weird story to think about, you know. Like I said, it kind of makes me think of that one story where that guy in Illinois, O'Fallon, Illinois. That's it. And stuff. It makes me think of that. That part, clearly. I really don't. Here's the thing. Like, if you don't have, like, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but if you don't have, like, video or photographs or anything, I kind of have a hard time believing, because you need the evidence to sort of back up your story in case. And for me, I have a hard time believing it. So, anyway, we're getting close to wrapping up the podcast episode. One thing I want to do for the next episodes is true crime stories. That's one thing I really, really, really want to do. Talk about true crime stories and stuff. Like, I kind of have a fascination with it. One story I really want to talk about is the Pam Huff case that happened in Missouri, which is a really interesting, bizarre, true crime story that framed an innocent man who went to prison and now he's out. And Pam Huff, of course, ended up killing a guy, and she is believed that she killed the one woman which framed the husband, and she killed her mom by throwing her off a balcony. Or pushing her off a balcony. So it's a really fucked up case that happened, and I really want to talk about it. It's really fascinating. It's a really interesting, bizarre case of how this woman got away with shit. And her killing the guy, she was trying to frame the husband of that woman she killed, which was fucking crazy. So I really want to cover that one. I really want to talk about we talked about it in part 1 of Hollywood Night, the Batman Hollywood Night podcast, the Natalie Wood case. That one is really fascinating, and it's weird how they never solved it. Like, you have 2 witnesses, and they just did not question either one. Well, you had the captain of the boat who talked about it and said that the police never interviewed him. You have Robert Wagner, who is, I assume he killed her. And you have Christopher Walken, who never really talked. He talked about Natalie Wood, but he talked about her acting. He never really talked about what happened on that boat, because nobody wants to question Christopher Walken. And that one's really a bizarre case. So I want to talk about that one. Anyway, I really had fun reading the Hollywood Night story, and it's a really fun story. We will probably do another comic book read. I kind of want to. So I think later down the road, after we do the Pam Huff case and the Natalie Wood unsolved case. So, anyway, I appreciate everyone listening, and we're now, like I said in the beginning of the show, we're on Podchaser now, the Podchaser app, which is really cool. I'm happy to be on that, having the show on that one. As for congratulations, thank you. As for the Arrow thing, I can't wait to see what they do. I think they're talking about doing the spin-off series Arrow and the Canaries, Green Arrow and the Canaries, and there's been rumors recently. Speaking of Arrow, there's rumors of Green Arrow possibly appearing in the Birds of Prey, and they talked about it before. Of Green Arrow appearing in the Birds of Prey thing. I highly doubt it. I doubt that Green Arrow is going to show up in the Birds of Prey thing. It'd be kind of stupid of them. So anyway, I'm going to read this one. This was on Reddit, so take that with a grain of salt. The Birds of Prey post-credit scene. Harley gets captured by... Here it is. Harley gets captured by Green Arrow. You never see his face. He asks her where Black Canary is, but Harley doesn't know, because after what happened in Birds of Prey, they've gone their separate ways. Then Waller appears and tells Harley that she was looking for her, and she has a new mission for her and the squad. Harley tries to get up, but Green Arrow shoots her with some kind of poison arrow as she falls asleep. That one's pretty funny. And mind you, this is Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt. The thing that will lead to Gunn's Suicide Squad, highly possible. Just curious who will play Green Arrow. Hoping they don't do something what they did with Superman and Shazam. And one person wrote, probably the Green Arrow actor isn't probably cast. It's probably a stand-in actor until they cast him. Mind you, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know if Green Arrow's going to show up. It'd be kind of stupid if they do. I mean, I don't really care at this point. So anyway, thank you for listening to the podcast, and we'll find the next book to read. And we'll talk more about comics. So anyway, thank you for listening, and bye.